Hey everyone. In this video I want to talk about the party phase. This is a stage in life that a lot of people go through, both men and women. And it basically consists of people, you guessed it, partying, usually around the ages of like 18 to 25, right around there. People tend to go to a ton of parties and engage in a lot of one night stands and that sort of thing. So I wanted to delve into the psychology of the party phase and the dangers of it, because as much as I like to tell people to do what makes them happy and get the most fulfillment and enjoyment out of life, there are consequences to our behavior quite often. And in this case, this is definitely one of those situations where by all means you can have your fun, but you need to be aware that there will be consequences to your behavior. So, what am I talking about? What are the consequences to the party phase in life? Well, the biggest one here is that there has been some research that if people have too many sexual partners, especially when they're younger, it tends to ruin their ability to pair bond with someone else going forward. And that's okay if you have no plan on going through life or no plans on going through life with a long-term partner, be it in a marriage, or if marriage isn't your thing, just having somebody in your life who you aren't married to, but who basically is your husband or wife, that sort of thing. If that's something you desire, and most people probably will, or at least they should, because it pretty much does lead to the most life fulfillment if you have a partner in your life, somebody that you deeply connect with, who you can get through difficult times with and share all the great experiences that you have in life with them. There is a lot of fulfillment that comes out of relationships, so they're a very important part of our lives as human beings, especially because humans in general tend to be more, how do I put it? We tend to be very relationship centric. It's kind of ingrained in our psychology. So a lot of us wouldn't be happy if we were to go through life completely alone, never interacting with other people. Even the introverts out there who say that they don't like people, even they wouldn't be able to get through life without any human interaction. I mean, like if you were the last human on earth, you would not be happy. There's just no way around it. You wouldn't be happy. Even if you say you would not be happy in that situation. So what I'm trying to say here is that relationships are incredibly important to our happiness and life fulfillment and overall enjoyment. So, if you go through a party phase and you have a lot of just, what's the word? Just sex without any meaningless sex. There we go. That's how it goes. That's the right proper phrase. If you have a lot of meaningless sex, a lot of one night stands, it will catch up to you. Like I said, it can hurt your ability to pair bond. And pair bonding is all about being able to have long-term partners without cheating on them, without basically running into issues where you feel like you need somebody more exciting than them and they're not good enough. Because if you sleep with too many people and you have all that stimulation, it basically starts to rewire your brain to want that kind of experience. There's actually a term for this. I believe it's called the Coolidge effect, where this scientist, this researcher, I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Coolidge, and he used rats to basically prove that humans and a lot of other animals like engaging in sex with new and exciting partners. He basically put rats in like an area, and he would have a male rat and a female rat, and of course they would do their thing. They would mate, and then he would take and put in a new female into that environment, and immediately the rat would go for that new female and he would neglect the old one. He wouldn't mate with that old one anymore. And there are biological reasons for this. It's basically, genetic diversity, spreading your seed around as much as possible so that your species has the greatest odds of survival. It's rooted in that. But the problem with this is when it interacts with us humans, bad things can happen because we're not exactly meant to, or well, should I say, our society is not exactly created to allow us to just have a ton of children with a ton of random people. There are a lot of issues with that, and the biggest one being you're going to raise a lot of children who aren't going to become good adults because how the hell are you going to be there for all of them if you have children with like 10 different people? There's just no way you can raise all of them in a good manner. So those children are going to be neglected in some form, and they're going to become broken adults most likely. So that's one reason why we can't exactly engage in that sort of behavior. But also, when you're thinking in terms of monogamy, the Coolidge effect will really mess you up. If you've had a ton of previous partners, then odds are you're at some point not going to like, or at least find your current partner exciting in some way. Because if you've slept with all these different people and you're used to all those different forms of stimulation, then how is your one current partner going to provide all that for you, that same experience? They can't. The only thing that could are new and exciting partners. So this is why people who sleep around a lot when they're younger tend to cheat when they get older, or they just struggle to have monogamous long-term relationships, because they literally mess with their neural wiring when they were younger, and the psychological consequences of that will catch up to them as they age. So it's a really unfortunate thing. So I realize I just kind of explained like a lot of psychological and biological things here, but my whole point is, if you're going through the party phase or you already went through it, just be aware that this can hurt your ability to have fulfilling long-term relationships going forward. So if you've already gone through your party phase, then unfortunately, you're going to have to just work through this, and you'll have to know that it is a thing. So when you find somebody who's great and good for you, just try to get as much fulfillment out of them as much as possible, and not turn your eyes to other people. And if you need more stimulation in the bedroom with them, then just come up with more things you can try with them, kinkier stuff. But don't look to other people to satisfy that need for you, unless you don't care about having a meaningful long-term relationship. But for the people who are going through the party phase, or who haven't hit that age yet and are approaching it, then please just realize that you should try to avoid sleeping with as many people as possible. I know that there's like that whole sowing your wild oats for men and for women. I don't know what their equivalent is, just having as much fun as possible, I guess, is what they call it. There are consequences to that, and just taking in mind everything I already mentioned, just know that that can happen to you. And while it may seem fun to have as many partners as possible in the here and now, it will affect you in the future. So just keep that in mind and try to basically balance fun with your future as much as possible. And then, of course, you already know that there are other side effects, or other consequences to this behavior, like STDs and having unwanted pregnancies and stuff like that. So just keep all that in mind. But I'm not saying don't have any fun. I'm just saying be aware of the consequences, and always have one eye looking towards the future, so that you don't screw yourself up in the pursuit of short-term pleasure. But anyway, this is enough of Father Josh, or I don't even know what to call myself. I feel like I'm being a parent right now, talking to like children, trying to raise them right. But I feel like I'm preaching is what I should say. So I hope you got something of value out of this video, and I didn't completely shut you off by getting too technical and also telling you things you probably don't want to hear. But I mean, these are facts. This happens in real life, and I'd rather tell you the truth and tell you that, yeah, there are consequences to having fun. I mean, we all want to do that as much as possible, but there will be consequences. So just be aware of that, work through it. And I would say in general, if you want to have fun, just make sure it's with people that you actually really like and that you want to keep around for a bit, because at least that is going to affect you far less than if you just have a ton of one-night stands with people you'll never see again. That will really destroy your psychology. Even if it doesn't seem like it, it will mess you up. So just be careful. So in general, choose meaningful experiences more than the meaningless ones. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if so, please like it and comment and share it if you liked it that much, because that's the easiest way to support me, by helping me navigate the algorithm. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!